Hello and welcome to this video on the prevention of gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is any violence that targets individuals or groups based on their gender identity, expression, or sexual orientation. It includes physical, sexual, psychological, and economic abuse, as well as discrimination, harassment, and coercion. Gender-based violence is a global problem that affects millions of people every year, especially women and girls. It has serious and lasting consequences for the health, well-being, and dignity of survivors, as well as for their families, communities, and societies. But how can we prevent gender-based violence? What are the strategies and actions that we can take to stop this violence before it even occurs? In this video, we will explore some of the main ways to prevent gender-based violence and some of the challenges and opportunities of doing so. One of the main ways to prevent gender-based violence is to address its root causes and factors. These include gender inequality, patriarchy, discrimination, and other social and cultural norms and values that create a context where violence against women and girls is normalized, justified, or tolerated. To address these root causes and factors, we need to promote and implement laws, policies, and programs that protect and empower women and girls, and that challenge and change the structures and systems that oppress and marginalize them. We also need to support and fund research and evidence-based interventions that can inform and improve our strategies and actions. Some examples of laws, policies, and programs that can prevent gender-based violence are the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women (CEDAW), which is an international treaty that defines and prohibits discrimination against women and girls and obliges states to take measures to eliminate it. The Istanbul Convention, which is a regional treaty that focuses on preventing and combating violence against women and domestic violence and provides a comprehensive framework for legal and practical measures. The UN Women's Heifer-She campaign, which is a global movement that invites men and boys to join the fight for gender equality and the elimination of violence against women and girls. The UNFPA-UNICEF Joint Program on the Elimination of Female Genital Mutilation, which is a global initiative that supports the efforts of governments, communities, and civil society organizations to end this harmful practice. Another way to prevent gender-based violence is to raise awareness and education among the general public and specific groups, such as men and boys, youth, religious leaders, media, etc. We need to communicate and disseminate information about what gender-based violence is, what are its consequences, and what are the rights and responsibilities of everyone to prevent and end it. We also need to provide and facilitate spaces for dialogue, reflection, and learning, where people can question and challenge their own attitudes and behaviors, and where they can develop and practice skills for non-violent and respectful relationships. Some examples of awareness and education campaigns and initiatives that can prevent gender-based violence are the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, which is an annual international campaign that runs from 25th November, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, to 10th December, Human Rights Day. The campaign aims to raise awareness and mobilize action to end all forms of violence against women and girls. The White Ribbon Campaign, which is a global movement of men and boys who pledge to never commit, condone, or remain silent about violence against women and girls. The campaign also organizes events and activities to educate and engage men and boys in the prevention of gender-based violence. The 1 Billion Rising Campaign, which is a global movement that calls for women and men to rise up and dance on 14th February every year, as a way of protesting and demanding an end to violence against women and girls. The campaign also supports local grassroots actions and initiatives that address the root causes and consequences of gender-based violence. The Girl Rising Campaign, which is a global movement that uses storytelling and media to inspire and empower girls to pursue their education and dreams. The campaign also advocates for policies and investments that support girls' rights and opportunities, and that prevent and respond to gender-based violence. A third way to prevent gender-based violence is to empower and support the survivors and the potential victims of violence. We need to ensure that they have access to quality and comprehensive services, such as healthcare, legal aid, psychosocial support, shelter, etc. We also need to create and strengthen networks and alliances with other individuals and groups that share their vision and goals, and that can provide them with solidarity, advocacy, and resources. Some examples of services, networks, and alliances that can prevent gender-based violence are the International Rescue Committee (IRC), which is a humanitarian organization that provides emergency relief and long-term support to people affected by crisis, including survivors of gender-based violence. The IRC also works to prevent and reduce gender-based violence through community-based interventions, advocacy, and research. The Women's Global Network for Reproductive Rights (WGNRR), which is a global network of women's organizations and activists that work to advance sexual and reproductive rights, including the right to be free from violence. The WGNRR also campaigns and mobilizes for the recognition and implementation of these rights at the local, national, and international levels. The Global Fund for Women, which is a grant-making organization that supports women-led groups and movements that work to end violence against women and girls and to promote gender justice and human rights. The Global Fund for Women also amplifies the voices and stories of women and girls who are fighting for change and transformation. The World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts (WAGGGS), which is a global movement of girls and young women who participate in educational and empowering activities such as leadership development, advocacy, and community service. The WAGGGS also advocates for the rights and well-being of girls and young women, and for the prevention and elimination of gender-based violence. These are some of the main ways to prevent gender-based violence, but there are many more that we can explore and implement. The important thing is that we all take action and responsibility, and that we work together to create a world where everyone can live free from violence and fear. Thank you for watching this video on the prevention of gender-based violence. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And don't forget to leave a comment below and tell us what you think about this topic. We would love to hear from you. See you next time. Bye.